It's game day, and you've settled in to watch your favorite sport. As the match unfolds, you notice something different. Cameras positioned at every angle, sensors embedded in the ball or puck, and screens displaying real-time analytics about each player on the field. It's no longer just about raw human talent or the coach's gut instincts. From soccer to basketball to tennis, artificial intelligence is transforming how athletes train, how referees make calls, and how fans experience the action. Today, we're looking at the role of AI in sports, enhancing performance or replacing players. We'll explore the technologies powering these changes and ask whether AI could ultimately redefine fairness or even overshadow the human element we value so much in competition. If these big questions intrigue you, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep exploring the frontier where tech and tradition collide. One of the most striking examples of AI in sports is its contribution to player performance analysis. Teams now gather immense amounts of data, heart rates, running speeds, shot accuracy, distance covered, often through wearable devices or high-speed cameras. Machine learning algorithms sift through that data, recognizing patterns over time and identifying areas where an athlete can improve. A soccer midfielder might learn that they're disproportionately drifting to one side of the pitch, leaving gaps in the defense. A tennis player might discover that their serve success rate drops drastically after the second set. Because the AI can churn through thousands of data points, it can highlight nuances that might escape even the best human coach. Beyond tactical insights, there's also a push to predict injuries before they happen. By continuously monitoring factors like muscle strain, joint impact, sleep quality, and even emotional stress levels, AI-driven systems can flag warning signs. Perhaps a player's gait subtly changes due to an undiscovered ankle niggle. A machine learning model compares that gait to hundreds of thousands of past samples, recognizes a common precursor to ligament tears, and advises the medical staff to intervene. In an ideal scenario, the athlete undergoes a customized rehab or conditioning program, preventing a major injury that would sideline them for months. This predictive capability is nothing short of revolutionary, especially for high-stakes sports where a single serious injury can derail an entire career. AI also works its magic at the training level. Some sports have introduced virtual reality setups that simulate game-like scenarios, letting athletes practice key decisions in a controlled environment. Imagine a hockey forward wearing a VR headset, facing an AI-controlled defense that adapts to each attempt at a goal. The system records every angle, every pass, and every shot, then suggests how the player might tweak their strategy to outmaneuver the AI defenders. While traditional drills remain essential, these AI-enhanced sessions let athletes sharpen mental reflexes and creativity without draining themselves physically in constant live scrimmages. The conversation doesn't stop at performance, though. Let's talk about referees, an area ripe for debate. Video Assistant Referee, VAR, in soccer or Hawkeye in tennis are early examples of machines assisting or even superseding human judgment. Players and fans alike have cheered the introduction of goal line technology that eliminates the "was it in or out" arguments. Tennis watchers are now accustomed to slow-motion reviews that show whether the ball kissed the line or landed just beyond it, with near-instant accuracy. Some propose going further, giving an AI system authority to make penalty calls in soccer or personal foul decisions in basketball. On one hand, fewer missed calls could mean a fairer game. On the other, we risk removing the very human drama of officiating, where a referee's split-second call can become legendary or infamous in sports lore. And let's be real, even AI can err if it isn't calibrated to handle every bizarre scenario that might arise mid-game. There's also a larger, more provocative question. Could AI ever replace players themselves? At first glance, it sounds absurd. Professional sports celebrate human agility, teamwork, and passion. Yet we already see glimpses of robotic exhibitions. Think of robot soccer tournaments where small, wheeled machines follow programmed strategies to pass a miniature ball around. While it's mostly a novelty today, we might imagine a future where advanced bipedal robots, powered by advanced AI, challenge or collaborate with human players in demonstration matches. If the robots keep improving, will people still watch if it becomes clear that the mechanical players are faster, more precise, and tireless? Or does our love for sports rest on the fact that real humans sweat, falter, and triumph against the odds? Fairness is another thorny issue when AI is woven deeply into sports. If one team has the resources to adopt cutting-edge analytics software and the other doesn't, you create a disparity that goes beyond individual talent. Likewise, if refereeing becomes hyper-automated, do smaller leagues that can't afford such tech risk falling behind? Some critics argue that a significant part of the game is mental and emotional resilience. Can you handle pressure without an algorithm whispering in your ear? As more teams adopt AI-driven coaching and predictive tools, you might see an arms race of data scientists rather than an arms race of raw athletic skill. It's reminiscent of doping controversies, only instead of illicit substances, we're talking about code and predictive modeling. Should sports bodies regulate the use of advanced analytics in training or real-time strategy? Where do we draw the line? Another angle to consider is how AI might be used in fan engagement. Broadcasters already sprinkle augmented replays with digital overlays, showing the speed of a pitch, the probability of a certain shot going in, or the expected yardage after a running play. We see AI systems generating probabilities in real time, adding a new dimension to sports commentary. For fans who love stats, it's a goldmine, but some purists feel it overshadows the raw aesthetic of the sport, turning it into a living spreadsheet rather than a purely visceral experience. Then again, many younger viewers raised on analytics from fantasy sports to esports might find it more immersive than ever. Let's loop back to the potential ethical dilemmas. An AI that predicts a player's risk for injury might also suggest that a team bench an individual to preserve long-term contract value, which might clash with the coach's desire to field the strongest lineup. On the officiating front, fully automated calls might remove the capacity for situational discretion. For instance, distinguishing between an accidental collision and a malicious tackle sometimes requires a human sense of context. Perhaps an algorithm would harshly penalize every instance of contact above a certain threshold, fundamentally altering the flow of the game. We might gain consistency, but lose the spirit of fair play guided by empathy. And if a miscalibrated AI system disqualifies a top athlete incorrectly, even for a few moments, that could decide an important match. Still, for all these concerns, there's no question that AI is here to stay in sports. Teams that ignore advanced analytics risk lagging behind. Sports leagues that fail to incorporate basic automated refereeing systems might seem antiquated to a generation used to near-instant, technology-driven feedback. Just as video replay became the norm, AI-driven calls and guidelines might become standard operating procedure. The key challenge is ensuring that these tools enhance the drama and fairness of the competition rather than turning sports into an impersonal algorithmic showdown. We also have to remember that sports have always evolved with technology. Equipment improvements, from better tennis rackets to lighter racing bikes, have changed the nature of competition. Broadcasting technologies revolutionized how we watch. AI might just be the next step, but it needs to be handled thoughtfully. Perhaps we'll see hybrid approaches, where a trained official leans on AI suggestions but has the final say, preserving the human element. Or maybe specialized AI-officiated leagues will emerge, aimed at fans who crave precision. The future could hold multiple flavors of sports, each with a different approach to how algorithms integrate into the game. If this conversation resonates with you, I encourage you to stay tuned by subscribing. The changes we're seeing now, like AI-driven scouting, performance dashboards, and partial officiating, are just the start. We're moving toward a future where neural nets forecast a player's peak performance years, or an algorithm orchestrates a soccer team's entire tactical approach. There may even come a day when we debate whether a record-breaking athlete owes more to raw skill or AI-driven training enhancements. Will we celebrate them as a superhuman star, or credit the machines for amplifying their abilities? Ultimately, the role of AI in sports is a story about how we balance innovation with the human spirit of competition. AI can augment athletic prowess, keep players safer through injury predictions, and remove some biases from officiating. But if we let it overshadow the sheer joy of watching human beings push their limits, we risk losing something essential. Those unscripted, heart-stopping moments that define why sports matter to us in the first place. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the intersection of athleticism and technology. If you found it thought-provoking, please subscribe and share your thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going, because how we handle AI in sports will reflect how we handle it in every corner of our lives, pushing boundaries while remembering what it means to be genuinely, triumphantly human.